This was a sequel that
Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of RLG Cast Reviews. Putty saying something about a sequel, but no one is listening. Yeah, Andor season 2. That's what we're talking about. JD's here, Putty's here, and Putty's gonna tell you what this is about.
this is the second season to Andor about Cassian and his crew that we met through Rogue One, and their stories of trying to fight against the Empire as the Empire takes over. Which we have the political sides of things, we have the poverty-stricken side of things, we have just different angles we look at that all lead into one story that most people have seen. So there you go.
Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Yeah. Well,
Is
it
that like
leads
some
into
kind of
Rogue
war in
One,
the
but
stars?
I don't know if that was a spoiler in that situation. So
I mean, it's there's a movie that came out.
yeah,
How long
right.
ago was that? 10 years ago?
Almost, yeah.
Oh, I can't believe Rogue One's been 10 years. God,
No,
I'm
I
getting
think it's
old.
been more than that.
Time flies. Get Timmy
Timmy's
on it.
on it.
Time flies. Yeah, I'm surprised
Nine
Timmy hasn't
years.
gotten fired yet. I heard about his drug use and everything. So
Who,
Timmy's out of
Timmy?
control. Yeah,
yeah,
Timmy's out
No,
of
no, no.
control.
Timmy's clean as a whistle, man.
No,
I don't know. I heard
Timmy
from his
lies
No,
to
brother it was
no.
him.
pretty bad. His
Timmy's
Timmy
clean
brother,
as a
lies to him.
whistle.
I
Hey,
heard
let's
his
talk
brother
about
was
Star
particularly
Wars, all
bad.
right?
Yes.
Stop hijacking my show, Putty. Um, so Andor,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was a show.
Mm-hmm.
it was.
There was,
I like the way they portrayed it.
Mhm.
I
Every
think they,
three episodes was like a mini movie that jumped.
yeah, basically. I do think though that they could have erased like 2 full episodes worth of nothing.
See, that's the funny part. This season I feel is better than the first season as far as when it is good, but then there's parts that just drag things down that I feel like they could have took out.
Well,
So
the
it's like
first
it's
season
really
had the
good.
the first like 2 or 3 episodes of the first season were actually bad in my opinion, and then
Yeah.
it got really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this one feels like there's good episodes, but in between there's some spots that just feel like they could have been kind of cut. But at the same time, it's not that bad. I honestly still think it's better than the first season in my eyes. But we'll get to
It
that when we
is.
get
It's
to
a
that.
lot better.
Yep.
Yeah.
100 times. And the first season
Like they
was
put
good
time
too.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put time into this. They really
Yeah.
did put time into this, and
They really put the time. They really put the effort. They told a fantastic story.
it
Like
leads in
it's
it perfectly leads into what we're going into next, or what we went into, and it's like we'll go into it later with spoilers, but I feel like if they do this properly, they could set up between the prequels and the original trilogy quite nicely, like they've been doing. Like for some reason, they're doing a pretty good job of that, but then when it comes to making their own stuff, that's not part of the actually story that's already out there, they're struggling. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the
And
end of
this
it,
is just
right?
remember. Well,
so
yeah, this is the final
basically the
season.
finale of Andor leads right into Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
there won't be another season.
Mm-mm. No matter how
Okay.
popular it is, I
It's
don't see them doing it.
Gail Erso. Repeat it back. Say it again. That girl is really annoying.
But
It's a well-made show. It's a
it
well-made
is.
show.
What's his name? Tony Gilroy. He did a fantastic job, like putting it together. And
I think just generally the show was really well rounded. I do think they got really bogged down. Okay, and you guys can help me out with this. Like maybe it's spoilers and we'll wait, but it got bogged down in the side story with like the girl that's on the Empire. And then it kind of
Really?
oh
just
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
thought like
On
it didn't really
Miro's Deidre Miro's character.
yeah, it didn't it told like a story that started out really compelling and then it just became like, well, once we see where the other side is going, her story doesn't matter anymore. And they just kept telling it to you and
True.
it didn't and it ends up not going
But
anywhere.
just goes to show that the Empire doesn't value their people. You're just a pawn. You're just a cog in the
So
wheel to
what
them.
okay, so
Well,
who cares? This is no, we're not going to do spoilers. Um the acting's really well just throughout the whole show. I think
Hmm.
visually it looks good. There's a couple scenes with like weird CGI, but I'm not really going to complain. I do think that Coruscant and what's the other planet called?
Gorman.
Gorman were too similar in the stylistic choices and the way that the people who live there are, and it made it hard to tell where you were sometimes
yeah.
because like they dress the same. You're mingling always with the rich crowd, so they all
Yeah.
look the same, and it just kind of like was like a weird thing. Like I don't know.
The
Well,
reason why I could tell the difference is because Gorman had natural light. Coruscant doesn't have any natural light.
They don't have natural light.
Nope, it's perpetually dark on Coruscant.
So where does all that light come from?
There is no light. Notice how it's always nighttime on Coruscant?
No, when they're at the city hall, it's daytime.
yeah, but they're
Yeah, that's
inside,
true.
I
Yeah,
think.
the Senate. Yeah, at the
When
Senate
they're at the
building.
Senate, when they're coming down the stairs at the
That's
end,
right.
it's daytime.
You're
Oh
right. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
So
I
wait,
don't
did
know.
we just find like a
I,
something that they mistake
yeah.
yeah,
when
then
they're
I
Maybe.
think
making the
so.
show?
Now I
Maybe
will
I'm
say,
mistaken. Maybe it's I'm thinking the lower levels that are always
you know,
because they're always underground.
but the one thing I wanted to point out was, everything because like when we look at this and what the way they did the higher class people compared to what like what was it what was the name of the second movie? I've already forgotten the name of it already. Not
Which
the
one?
second movie, but the second of the new series, not the Last Jedi, yeah, the Last Jedi. Remember when was it Last Jedi that they went to
That's
that
the
rich
second
area?
film. Yeah, that's
It's
the
such a
second
okay.
film in the the newer trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie did not really represent what I felt was great about the rich. Like it felt really just looked horrible. It didn't seem right. You know what I mean? It didn't fit into the world. This one fits. And I think what it is one of those characters, what's her name, that the one that ends up becoming the senator or the one that ends up going into the
Mon
empire or
Mothma?
join the
Mon
rebel. Yeah,
Mothma,
Mon
yeah.
Mothma, yeah. Um but the one other thing I want to say, and I'm not going to bring it up in case it is kind of spoilers, but as far as the character I'm talking about, but remember the character that Cassian and what's her name were friends with, that he walked, or was that their son? I can't remember
No,
exactly what it
that's not their
was.
son. That kid.
Okay, yeah, that whole side story with him. I think that the only reason I feel like they did that is to introduce that one character as a surprise, and I feel like that whole part could have been taken out because if you take out
Okay,
that
so
part of
wait,
it,
do we have to
Are
wait for
you talking about
spoilers?
the finale?
no,
He's talking about the
You,
guy. Is that her brother or something?
they were all on the same farm.
okay. But
The
what I'm
Forrest
saying is,
Whitaker guy?
when he remember
Yeah, with the
yeah,
Forrest Whitaker guy.
well, yeah, I was trying not to because I didn't know if that was spoilers. Yeah, those I feel like was just introducing Forrest Whitaker back into the fold. I don't feel like it was
He was
needed.
awesome.
Yeah, he
I like
was.
him, but it's still one of those things where it was good and it was a great scene, but it's like one of those things where it just felt like they were doing filler because like I feel like if we take those parts of the series out, there's nothing you're gonna miss. You know what I mean? Like nothing's gonna change dramatically in that outside of him being
There's a
gone and
lot of
back.
like 5 minute long conversations between
Wilmon, or whatever his name
yeah,
is.
Wilmon.
The little kid,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's like two. There's like a lot of 5 minute conversations in this show between people that are literally irrelevant having a conversation
Hmm.
about nothing that didn't need to be part of this show. And I think you could have
Hmm.
literally erased one whole episode just in that. Otherwise it's a very well made show. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Let's just talk about spoilers. That's it. Give your score.
Who's going first?
8.7.
9.
I was giving it 9 too.
All right, we're all in the same zone. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to spoilers.
Danger zone.
What did the girl get arrested for?
Treason.
For doing what?
Her job. So she keeps quiet.
So just because they didn't want her to say anything in the future, they did that?
Hmm. Yep. That's the Empire.
And so
Yeah.
did she, but does she grasp that? Because it doesn't seem like she figured that out.
No, she didn't. Because her boyfriend dies too, the one she set up.
And see,
Yeah.
that's the funny part too. I do like that twist where the boyfriend, if you remember the first season, he felt like he was the darker approach character. You would never think he would have sympathy. I thought she would have more sympathy later in the story, and it actually reversed on me. And he was the one that was more sympathetic, and she was the one that was more cold-blooded. And that was a crazy like flip on me because I will
Yeah.
admit that whole idea, I still had it pat down that he was the more diabolical person. But then when he started going to the was it, is it pronounced it Gormas? I can't remember the exact
The
name of the
Gormans.
Gormans, yeah.
Yeah.
When he
He
started
was siding with
actually,
the Gormans.
yeah, he was siding, and I was like, I was not expecting this. Like, I was not, and that's a good twist, I would say, in the story that was kind of unexpected. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't foreseeing that to happen, and then, like with her story, the whole situation, like you could tell she's hesitant about things, but like it feels like for her being a higher rank was such a bigger thing. But at the same time, I was wondering how are they not going to present the whole thing with the later movies or anything, and they finally did it. Which at the
Yeah.
same time, I feel like was a cop out the way they did it with her. But they had to find a way to detain her from being any in the later movies. You know what I mean? So it's like.
I
Okay, I get
like
it.
I like the way they showed Mon Mothma's character, how her progression from Senate to
Yes.
leader of the rebellion, like she just got so fed up with everything and so
Hmm.
disenchanted, and just how she just changed and becomes the leader of the rebellion. Stellan Skarsgård's character, Luthen, like how he was the one to bring all these little pieces of rebellion together into one big rebellion. And like that was all on him, and how he dies alone and by himself. Like that was wrenching for me.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
also portray him as being really bad in the beginning of the season, and then
Hmm.
as it progresses, it shows you that his ideal was right the whole time, and everyone else was just wrong. Like the rest of the
Yeah.
rebellions were wrong, and they should have joined together. The Gormans was like a necessary thing to happen to get
Hmm.
everyone together, but at the same time, it was their own stupidity that got them into that
Yeah.
mess because they thought they could do it without the actual
Help.
leaders of the rebellion.
Yeah. Like that episode where Sintra gets killed. Was it Sintra?
Yeah, in
She
the
was
what is it,
only in
the
an
heist?
episode because
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
busy with Doctor Who right now.
it was the heist episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she
Oh, from
got
the first
killed
season,
literally
yeah.
by accident.
Yeah. She got punked out. And what do you think about the casting change? Was Jimmy
Uh,
Smith's not available?
Okay, so
yeah,
see,
he
that's
wasn't
what I was wondering
available.
too. I was wondering about that too because that kind of took me out of there.
You don't even notice he looks exactly the same.
Benjamin Bratt is
Uh,
the Timu Jimmy Smith.
They look exactly the same.
I I don't think so, but yeah, but I get what I get what you're
They do
saying.
have a
Can we
similar
bring up
look.
a picture? Oh yeah, wait, Timmy doesn't work for me.
Timmy doesn't, yeah.
Uh,
Timmy works for me.
um, but I do want to say the Mon Mothma
He's
storyline. I actually like
disconnected.
that way better. And for some reason,
Yeah.
well,
It's
here's
also connected to
yeah.
Rebels.
Well,
That's the same speech that she gives in Rebels.
mhm. And see what's great about it too is the actress they got to play her. I don't know who played the original one in the original movies, but she looks so much like her. Like when she's
Hmm.
standing behind it at the end, even when she did this in Rogue One,
When she
like
did
with
that, when she got
her
the bad haircut,
yeah, like she's got the neck extension, the look. Like, how did they find her? And she's such a great actress. Like, that was kind of like kind of like I guess by Mark Hamill and what's his name that plays Winter Soldier. How they just look so similar. Like you could just
Sebastian
cast him
Stan.
as yeah. And she is the same one. She fits that so well. So like for her being a good actress and fitting the part, it just I really want to sit down one day and just watch the whole series, watch Rogue One, and then go straight into the new movies because I wonder if I can actually not even recognize the
That's
change.
like
You know what I
two
mean?
days worth of watching.
Well, no, I know, but the beats they've done with the Rogue One and the series going into A New Hope, I was done.
I think that's my Christmas marathon.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, the only thing that's bad out of all these things, out of everything that happened, is literally just the Princess Leia thing in Rogue One. Like, I feel like that's the only
And
thing
the
because the
Tarkin.
CGI was done. Yeah, and the
No,
Tarkin.
the
Yeah.
Tarkin looks good.
Yeah, but they could
Compared to
I mean
Princess Leia, yeah.
with new technology they could probably change it, like they could probably touch it up now and release a special edition.
Just go look, watch that again in 4K, and remember that it's 2016, and that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, even though this is Andor, the title is Andor, she stole the show in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I feel like she stole the show. Don't, there's nothing wrong with Cassian or anything like that,
Yeah,
but
she
it's
was
just,
fantastic.
yeah, like
Genevieve O'Reilly.
I
I
would,
also found I found the other girl, his girlfriend, what's her name, Bix, to be really
Hmm.
annoying in
Bix.
this season. Like
Yeah, that
her
whole,
character did nothing except take away from where the story was going.
Yeah, she was an addict.
yeah,
It was just
Like her only
and then,
redemption is when she killed the doctor that tortured her.
well, see, and
yeah.
that's the thing. I'm wondering where, since like there's nothing that continues from here, so why focus on some of these characters that don't have any well-being to the future movies? Like Cassian, I understand. Mothma, I understand. Some of these other ones, it's nice to see them, but because we're dealing with 12 episodes here, they're almost an hour long a piece. It's you
But
could have put this down to
it just
10.
goes to show there's so many moving pieces in a rebellion that not everybody gets the credit that they deserve or that they've earned.
And I guess that's what they were trying to do. But I mean, again, I think that point could have gone across still with Cassian and his situation. I feel like we could have still got that. If they even with her, if they could have just cut down like the whole drug addiction and all that kind of stuff, and give her more of a sympathetic role, because later on we finally get it with that older lady where she kind of leads her like, "Hey, you're there to guide him," and it's like,
The
okay, cool.
Force
That could
healer.
have. Exactly. You could have condensed all those drug things and her being depressed and just made it to where they go he finally goes to see her, they meet that, you're the support system, you're what makes him go. And we still would have been sympathetic to her and him because you didn't have to push all these things about her being depressed
Well,
because
and that's the thing too. Once she gets over that, she leaves him.
yeah, I know. And that's what makes it even more strange in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, why did you even have that in the first place? You know what I mean? So
Because
anyway.
she was holding him back, and he is the he is the biggest moving piece of the rebellion. Like,
Yeah.
what I realized by the end of the show from the first season and like the beginning of this season is he kind of seemed irrelevant. And it was like, why is he even like, why are we thinking so highly of him? But then it got towards the end, and he's the reason that everything happens.
Yeah,
He saves
Right.
Mon
he's the
Mothma.
catalyst.
He goes back and saves Thing's daughter,
Hmm.
Hmm.
whatever the hell her name
But
is,
let's look at it this way. What
The
if they did
Gorman, the
something more
Enza. Was it
yeah,
Enza?
something.
like what if we did something more heart-wrenching? Like let the Empire kill her and give him a motive for what he's
He
doing.
got a
Like you
motive.
could have
She
done that.
just left. She said, "I'm leaving," and he
Yeah,
said,
but that's
"Okay."
what I'm saying. But they could have fixed that later on and just basically like when she
They
that
didn't
guy
need you
came
to.
back.
They weren't trying to make him a sympathetic character. They don't want you to
Yeah.
feel bad for him.
I mean, I guess, but you still do. That's still what they're trying. It feels like what their
I didn't
intent
feel bad
was.
when that happened. I was like, "Oh, finally, she's gone."
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like either way, you would have been saying finally she's gone, but the other time would have been more sympathetic to his cause,
You
and I
don't
Yeah.
guess.
need to
But
be
anyway.
more sympathetic. You keep saying that. You don't need it.
Well, I mean, no, you don't need it, but you don't need her plot line too. So
Her
which
plot
way would you
line's
go?
gone now.
Yeah, I liked all the politicking in this show. It's just
Yes, they
like
did really good with that.
how they use propaganda and how they use like all that in order to like basically it's
Listen,
like
there's a lot of this show that is very, very much structured to like talk about what's happening with Israel right now. Like it's you could
yeah,
tell they took a lot of that. Like multiple different governments are telling you something, and then when you actually see what's happening, it's nothing like what they're telling you is happening.
yeah, there's the right
Yeah.
side of the truth, the left side of the truth, and the real truth.
But it was very thoughtful that they went in the
Yeah,
effort to like be really realistic about stuff, right? Like the Ukraine situation. That's what a lot of it feels like that.
yeah. But no,
Anyways,
it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
it's a really good show. I
Definitely worth a watch.
It's definitely worth a
Yeah,
couple
even if you're,
watches.
heck, I even feel if you're not a Star Wars fan, this is still a good show to watch. Like I feel like if you can sit down and watch this, this will lead you into Rogue
But
One.
see,
And
yeah, and this is you can do a Star Wars show that doesn't have to have Jedis and like just
mhm.
add the little hints of things here and there. Like they talk about Palpatine a lot, but you never see
Yeah, you never
Palpatine.
see him. Heck, I was expecting them to force that upon us because they could have done CGI with him and everything, but they didn't. And I was happy about that. But
Yeah.
I was saying
And I
I was
think
expecting to happen.
and I think that's where Mandalorian kind of lost its focus.
Hmm.
Like the first season of Mandalorian was fantastic. New characters, new creatures, new locations. And then I don't know what happened, but it's become Rebels the continuation. It's no
Right.
longer about it's no longer about Din Djarin, it's about Bo-Katan now.
Yeah, but I think that's why they're trying to end it. They realize
With
that
the movie and everything, yeah.
they've realized they've gone too far.
Which means probably the
Um,
movie's probably going to go right back and it's going to focus on what the first season
Mandalorian's
did,
still
which I'm
good.
hoping.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's bad, but
No, you sound
it's
like you're
lost
saying it's
its
bad. Okay?
sorry?
You
No, I'm
sound like you're
not.
saying it's bad.
No, I'm just saying like it's no longer the Mandalorian. It's no longer just about the Mandalorian and Grogu going on their adventures like a Wild West.
If you want to watch Star Wars, watch Andor and then watch Rogue One and then watch the first three movies and then watch Mandalorian and then don't watch any more Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
my
Revenge of the Sith.
prescription for Star Wars.
But the pod race seed was cool.
No, it wasn't. Anyways, I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything
Nope.
else?
Nope. Just watch
All
this
right.
show.
Thanks for watching and do 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 do.
Do.
Do do.